Let's go.
The serenity of nighttime in the Valley of the Sun disappears when you enter U.S. Airways Center as hard-hitting and intense arena football takes center stage. Tonight, long-standing rivals Los Angeles and Arizona square off in Week 2 of the AFL season.
Are we ready? Let's go. Prime time. Our house. Take care of your house. Take care of your house. Right, baby.
There's going to be 3 to 5 plays. That's going to be the difference in the game. Let's make sure they go our way. Here we go. As I say, hey, everybody's watching. Everybody's watching. Be the guy that helps us win. Be the guy that helps us win. Team on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Welcome to this ESPN presentation of Russell Athletic Arena Football Monday. Inside the U.S. Airways Center in Phoenix for a renewal of one of the AFL's fiercest rivalries. 1-0 Arizona and 1-0 Los Angeles in a key early season Western Division contest. Hi, everybody, with Marcellus Wiley. I'm Dave Pash. 2 exciting young quarterbacks on display tonight. Let's start with Los Angeles' Sonny Cumbie coming off a big Week 1.
Yeah, he had a big Week 1. He had 7 touchdowns, but 3 interceptions, and that will make the coaches frown because he must protect the football. As Sonny Cumbie goes, so does the Los Angeles Avengers. He's a tremendous talent, has the most yards for any quarterback in his first 2 seasons in AFL history.
So, Marcellus, a lot of pressure on Sonny Cumbie, but that doesn't even compare to what's going on with the Arizona Rattlers. Everybody feeling the pressure in the entire organization. That's because ownership has guaranteed its season ticket holders that if they don't make the playoffs, they'll get a total refund. You see the Rattlers media guide with the red stamp, guarantee refund. And Lane Campbell will have extra pressure on his shoulders, the Arizona quarterback.
Yeah, Lane Campbell can't guarantee he was going to replace Cedric Bonner, the legend, but he did come in and have a great first game last week and throwing 8 touchdown passes. Has a lot of receivers, a lot of weapons to get the ball to, but he must also be careful in protecting the ball against that fierce pass rush of the Los Angeles Avengers.
But it was a good start last week for Arizona after a 4-12 season a year ago. Los Angeles in white, there's Sonny Cumbie, the Avenger quarterback. Arizona in black. Here in Phoenix, home opener for the Rattlers. They've got a new coach in Kevin Guy in his first year. Los Angeles with the veteran Ed Hotchkiss in his 7th season at the helm of L.A. And there's Guy, who was with San Jose last year, was the defensive coordinator for the SaberCats when they won the Arena Bowl. And also played in the AFL for 4 years, and at the AF2 level, which is a minor league for AFL, he's the all-time leader in wins. Kick return goes through the hands and then picked up by Wheeler. It'll be a touchback, and Los Angeles will start at the 5-yard line as Wheeler gets to the ball after Marshall had it go through his mitts. Well, you mentioned the 3 picks last week, but still got to be impressed not only with 7 touchdowns, franchise record for passing yards a year ago, and if he gets 171 yards today, he'll become number 1 all-time in terms of AFL passing yards through 31 career games.
Wing quickly. 360 hits, wing short.
And as you hear, Cumbie is wired for sound today, along with Lane Campbell and the 2 head coaches.
Go!
Cumbie out of the end zone. His pass low, but it is caught by Kevin Ingram, who had 103 catches and 26 touchdowns last year despite missing 5 games. Now our U.S. Marines starting lineups. Clay Harrell, Greg Krause, and Sean McNamara up front for the Avengers. Cumbie along with Lonnie Ford. Ingram, Marshall, and Ward, pretty good receiving crew.
Yeah, Marshall had a big day in his Avengers debut last week, and he was brought in to upgrade the passing game and special teams, so look forward to him contributing all game.
Yeah, Tamon Marshall, a free agent signed from Grand Rapids, as Cumbie's pass is almost pulled in, a diving attempt, but incomplete, as LaShawn Ward could not come up with it. Our U.S. Marine starting lineups for the defense for the Arizona Rattlers. Keo Craver, Trufant, and Eric Williams in the secondary.
And Keo Craver was second in AFL with 113 tackles as a first-year player. Physical and packs a punch for a man his size.
Shropshire Hawthorne gains up front. Kurt Kahui and Jerry and James is the jack linebacker. There's a new rule for the Jack linebacker, which we'll get into a little bit later as you look at Keo Craver, 3 picks a year ago, led Arizona in tackles. A rare running play here in arena football as Lonnie Ford is close to the first down and appears to have it. That was 3rd down. Remember, no punting in AFL. And now Lonnie Ford becomes the 9th player ever to rush for at least 700 yards in arena football. And
those are amazing stats. You may look at the NFL game and don't think that they compare, but Bill Parcells may cringe at those running stats. But looking at Ford run, I think they may confuse him for a Ford, F250 or something like that, because he's a big load when he comes through the ball.
Yeah, listed at 6'2", 285 in his 6th year out of USC. So first down for Los Angeles. A lengthy drive by AFL standards as a penalty flag flies.
Delay a game, offense, 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
Bill McCabe is our referee. Let's take a look at what you need to know if you're a first-time viewer of AFL. 8 players on each side of the ball. We mentioned no punting. The nets are always in play, and the sideline barriers are inbounds unless you're forced out by the defender. There's a lot more that we'll fill you in on as we get going here. Hawthorne jumped, but was he drawn off? And Taj Hawthorne, rookie out of Wisconsin, was offside on the play for Arizona.
Encroachment, contact, number 77 defense, 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
And big men never think that they jump off sides, but especially when you're playing nose tackle, when you're the closest defender to the ball, you have to keep your focus on the ball, make sure you don't hurt your team with penalties.
What's the key, Marcellus? You were terrific in terms of get off in the NFL as a defensive lineman.
Well, you got to turn your ears off. You just can't listen to the quarterback. That hurts most defenders.
Here's Cumbie to throw, and he's sacked back at the 2-yard line by Wendell Gaines, Arizona's all-time leader in sacks.
And Wendell Gaines just comes around the corner and effectively beats his man. So he just does a delay rush, and the stutter step is what allows him to get the offensive guard off balance and allows him to get to the quarterback and make the sack.
Lonnie Ford got beat that time by Gaines, who spent some time in the NFL with the Cardinals, Kansas City, and Philadelphia. In his 9th year in arena football, 36 years of age. Cumbie at age 26 out of his end zone, nearly picked off by Craver. Incomplete. It'll bring up 3rd down.
And like I said in the opening, Craver, for a guy his size, he packs a punch, and he's a physical corner, but more importantly, with his speed, he's allowed himself to get across and cover sideboard to sideboard. So he can break on balls, which quarterbacks may think they can fit the ball into small windows. Craver has the speed to close on the receiver.
Cumbie pressured as the flag flies. And there's an open man. It's Marshall, and it's a length of the field touchdown. Again, a penalty flag down back at the 5-yard line, but what a toss by Cumbie.
Shading, number 77 on the defense. The penalty is declined. The result of the play is a touchdown.
Yeah, you got to be head up if you're a defensive lineman. Hawthorne was not, and it's a 48-yard touchdown pass.
Yes, Hawthorne's off to a rough start with the penalties, but as you see, the throw was just basically the defender stops on the play, whereas the receiver continues on the route. Because of the penalty, sometimes that throws you off. So Timon Marshall was brought in for his kick return abilities and also his ability to help the pass offense, and you can see him helping them in the first drive already.
Extra point good by David Davis, rookie out of USC. Timon Marshall, 3 touchdowns in his Los Angeles debut after coming over from Grand Rapids, and a score early tonight in Arizona.
got ADT because my neighbors were robbed. But ADT did a lot more than protect me from burglaries. My dog was all alone when the fire broke out. ADT acted fast and called the fire department. They saved my home and her life.
Every day, ADT is there for our customers with an easy way to arm and disarm your system, plus fast alarm response from our advanced network of monitoring centers. Call now and save over $250 when you buy ADT's family package. ADT, always there.
Plug-in, the first ultra-adaptable room from Marriott.
As a national holiday yourself, how do you feel about the brewers of Guinness petitioning to make St. Patrick's Day an official holiday?
Wow. You have got some brass, son.
Please drink responsibly. It's go time.
I'm Stan Verrett back here in the studio with an update from one of the conference tournaments. 5 years ago, San Diego knocked off Gonzaga for the West Coast Conference title, and tonight they did it again. They win 69-62 in the championship game, and that's bad news for teams on the bubble because the Zags should get in anyway. Dave?
So, Stan, the student beats the teacher, Billy Greer, in San Diego over Mark Few, his former boss in Gonzaga. Here's Sonny Cumbie with the length of the field touchdown pass to give Los Angeles the early lead. Davis kicking off to Kevin Nickerson. The Nets are in play. Nickerson across the 5. And that's it. Slammed down at the 7-yard line by Justin Hickman. Here comes Lane Campbell, who had 8 touchdowns in week 1. A win for Arizona. That was the most ever for a Rattler quarterback in a season opener. And remember, they had Cedric Bonner for all those years.
Yeah, and the pressure is not just in the guarantees for them to make the playoffs, but the pressure for Lane Campbell is just to replace a legend in Cedric Bonner. And he's done a great job of that so far in his first win with the 8 touchdowns and spreading the ball all around. So he has to just continue on that performance for them to have success.
Only 8 starts for Campbell prior to this year. That was with Austin last year, which dropped down to AF2. Is Campbell in trouble here? And his pass just past Jerry and James. There is a penalty marker down. James was the intended receiver. Perkins put pressure that time on Campbell.
Holding. Number 4 defense. 10-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Eddie Canonico, the guilty man. Let's take a look at our U.S. Marines starting lineups. For the Arizona Rattlers, 1-0. They've got Armstrong, Jonathan Ingram, and Eric Thomas, who was playing Campbell's center in Austin last year, and Sia Burley, Offensive Player of the Year, making it his Arizona debut tonight.
Yeah, he comes in from Utah last year after having 49 touchdowns and 166 receptions. So he has great production, and they look forward for that all year long.
Didn't play last week because of sore legs, and that pass over his head intended for Burley on the near sideline. So 2 overthrows by Campbell. Nerves perhaps for the young quarterback. Take a look at the defense and our U.S. Marine starting lineups for the Avengers. Damon Wheeler, the reigning Defensive Player of the Week in AFL, along with Canonico and Mays. And up front, Ken Jones, another pickup in the offseason from Columbus.
Yes, and in Columbus, he finished 3rd in AFL in sacks with 9.5 and 13 tackles for loss. So they need some production from him because in the first game, he only had 1 tackle and no sacks.
And you got Jason Stewart on the nose, who is 3rd in arena football in fumble recoveries. Our 4th penalty flag.
Offside. Number 86 defense, unabated to the quarterback. 5-yard penalty. Remains 2nd down.
And that's not the production we need. We don't need to see him on the stat sheet for penalties. So just the jitters is taking over for the teams. This is a fierce rivalry, and early in the ball game you can see that both teams are kind of slipping away from the fundamentals.
3 penalties for 20 yards already on Los Angeles.
Left, right, wide move. 53 sling, wide corner. 1-2, ready? Left, 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 left. Yeah, no, Tuesday. Go! Hot!
That's Burley in motion. Campbell in trouble. Sack. Ken Jones drags him down. Right on cue, Marcellus with his first sack for Los Angeles.
Yes, and the microphones must be on the field as well. He must have heard me as he comes around the edge, just a fierce speed rush, and that's all he does. He comes in with that kind of talent, and they need that production from him. So 9.5 sacks last year, just one of the top 3 AFL defensive linemen, as you can see right there. He is a talent.
5th season of arena football out of South Carolina State. Here's Campbell on 3rd down, has Burley knocked away. Beautiful play by Damon Wheeler. We mentioned the defensive player of the week. Wheeler had an interception, and on the same play, a forced fumble recovery, return for a touchdown last week.
And on this play, he was helped just by the lack of concentration by Cy Burley as he comes in and doesn't tuck the ball away, so Wheeler gets a chance to strip the ball. Just a great play for Damon Wheeler, and like you said, defensive player of the game last week, and they look for him to increase on those 6 interceptions he had last season.
No punting in AFL, so instead of attempting a long field goal, Campbell going to go for it, and it's converted, caught by James at the 20-yard line in Los Angeles territory.
And they were bailed out in this situation because they're getting great pressure up front. And that's one of the things, the attributes of the Los Angeles Avengers is their pass rush with Jason Stewart and Ken Jones up front. But then still they complete the pass, and that's what they have to do. They have to continue to march down the field, and the quarterback has to have his vision down the field and not be looking and focusing on that pass rush in front of him.
Go! Hot!
And Ken Jones jumped offside, as you heard the hard count from Lane Campbell.
Offside. Number 86 defense, unabated to the quarterback. 5-yard penalty remains. 1st down.
That's Los Angeles head man Ed Hotchkiss in his 7th year.
52, Z bubble, wide pole on 1-on-1. Ready?
And we're going to see the offensive line slide protect to the right as they try to run a deep bubble route.
And Campbell going for Burley, caught up against the wall. Touchdown, Arizona.
And that's what they call the double route right there with Cy Burley, where it looks mostly like a post route as he runs past the defender to the middle of the field. And what you see right here is the post route and the bubble between the corner and the safety. And that's the route, and that's where they want to exploit in the zone defense, is to get behind the cornerback and behind the safety. And they had success on that, and that's 6 points for Cy Burley.
His first touchdown in his 2nd stint with Arizona. He was here for a couple of years, grew up in Mesa, went to Westwood High School here in Mesa in the Phoenix area. Witzak's extra point is good. So happy return for Burley to the Valley of the Sun. Great catch. Up against the back wall to tie it.
Why are you hitting yourself? Say it. No. Hail to the victor. Oh, no, I stay real. Say it.
No matter who you root for or against, we've got what you need. Champ Sports, where sport lives.
This spring, ESPN Fantasy Baseball brings you the hottest drama of the season with conflict.
Let's take this outside. Well, nice for you.
Deception.
Grant. My wife in a mock draft lobby with my best friend.
Where emotions and team batting averages run high.
You calling me stupid?
Don't trade Prince Fielder.
Don't miss it. One season, endless drama. ESPN Fantasy Baseball. The best features and experts, all for free. Sign up today.
Meet Mark.
Marshall Brain, expert explainer.
And I'm really curious about everything.
This Thursday, we're going to break apart golf balls. Titleists will show us their secret recipe, baking them at over 300 degrees, and boats flying at up to 55 miles per hour. Who knew they could get so much speed from fiberglass shot out of a gun?
Who knew? With Marshall Brain, part of Engineering Thursdays, premieres this Thursday at 9 Eastern on Nat Geo, Channel 27.
ESPN's telecast of Russell Athletic Arena football is brought to you by Russell Athletic. For those who have what it takes on the inside, Russell has what it takes on the outside. And in part by ADT. ADT, America's residential and commercial security leader, is proud to be the official security services provider of arena football. Back in Phoenix, where we're tied at 7, Sia Burley, who missed last week's season opener, reportedly with sore legs, getting stretched out after that touchdown catch up against the wall.
And he may have tweaked his hamstring, as Lane Campbell told us. He had a hamstring issue in training camp, and Lane Campbell was really looking forward to tonight's game just to have his top receiver at 100%. But as you can see already on the opening drive, he may have tweaked that. And having hamstring injuries in the past, they're very tricky. They're very tough to heal, because any sudden movement can trigger it and once again put you back on the shelf.
I didn't know when you played you actually had hamstrings, Marcellus.
Well, if you listen to my coach, Bill Parcells, he said no fat guy should have muscle pulls. So I think I qualify as a fat guy.
Damon Marshall on the return out to the 5. And here comes Sonny Cumbie, fresh off a touchdown pass of 48 yards to Damon Marshall.
Let's go, Will. Here we go, man. Here we go. Listen up now. Tight right. H.O. 370 quick out. H-hitch. On 1. Ready?
Cumbie fires toward the sideboard, and it's pulled in by Marshall for a gain of 3. Craver on the tackle. Let's listen in to Sonny Cumbie on that touchdown pass earlier in the period.
A little ESPN theme music there. And playing the game, we love getting to situations where we know that this play is going to be on ESPN.
He's a smart guy. He knows that might find its way on SportsCenter as he finds Marshall and pushed out of bounds by Craver. Sonny Cumbie wants to do broadcasting, and in fact does some now. He's coming off his 3rd year as the radio analyst for Texas Tech football.
Here we go. Let's go, fellas. Round right. On 2 now. On 2. Round right. H.O. 70 stop. H-post. On 2. Ready?
And more important than the routes, what they're going to look for a deep post route is they're going to go on 2, hopefully drawing Big Hawthorne offside.
Cumbie firing, nearly intercepted. Isaiah Trufant, younger brother of Seattle Seahawk corner Marcus Trufant, nearly picked it off as he stepped in front of Jarrett Hicks.
Well, looking at Trufant, he came across, as they teach you, you're supposed to keep one hand for the ball and one hand on the defender for the tackle. He threw the textbook away on that play and tried to break on it, close to an interception.
No.
You talked about the interceptions last week for Cumbie that almost cost Los Angeles 3 picks in that game. Played at Texas Tech for Mike Leach, led the NCAA in passing in 2004. Nearly, Ingram made the catch. Good coverage by Trufant. Ingram could not pull it in for the touch.
What was impressive on that play was Trufant was beat but his breaking speed, his ability to close on the football allows him to get in there and get a hand on the football. So as he's beat on the post corner route, still has the speed to get in there and slightly deflect the ball with his left hand. Great play on defense.
And you see the clock running there. The clock will not stop with the exception of the final minute of the first and second halves for out-of-bounds plays and incomplete passes. Here's Cumbie on third down in trouble. Sack at the 17-yard line. Kirk Kahui and Darryl Shropshire team up.
And contributing to the sack was not only the breakdown in the offensive line protection. As you can see, it's just a jailbreak where guys are coming from the left and the right up the middle, but Sonny Cumbie had nowhere to throw the ball. You look at his throwing lanes, you see receivers all in the same vicinity. That's a no-no when you're running routes as a receiver, to be in the same vicinity of one of your teammates.
Los Angeles going for it here on fourth down and 14. Again, no punting in arena football. They call a timeout here. You can either try a long field goal, and of course the ball's live if it hits the net, or you can go for it, and that's what Los Angeles is going to do.
And field goals are easier said than done in the Arena League.
So get back in there quick enough to tell Hicks to wheel stop it 2 yards past the down mark.
Let's take a look at the field dimensions in arena football. Half the size in the outdoor game and 28 yards wide. End zones are 8 yards deep, and the walls are 4 feet high. And the ball is live off the net or off the iron. The goalposts are only 9 feet wide. In the NFL, they are 18.5 feet wide, and the crossbar 10 feet high. So anything over 50% field goal is pretty good. That's one of the reasons why Arizona's going for it here at fourth down and 14. Or Los Angeles going for it, rather. 50% so far. And again, the hard count draws a couple of Rattlers offside. They may have been drawn off, though, by a Los Angeles offensive lineman.
Offside. Defense, number 99, unabated to the quarterback. The result of the penalty is a first down.
Hey, tell him. And it's a little contagious, the jumping off sides. It started with Hawthorne, and it's to move this way over to the Darryl. So you just got to hold your water. I played that position for 10 years in the NFL. It's about turning your ears off and focusing on the football and waiting for movement by the lineman across from you.
Correction, it's not a first down. It's still fourth down.
Hold on, hold on.
No good ball.
Huddle.
So Sonny Cumbie calling for a huddle here on fourth down and 9.
Hey, Bill, that's their third offside, so.
That's right. The fourth one is 10 yards.
Okay.
We got our play clock.
Play clock. Here we go, listen up.
Hang on. Don't go anywhere.
Huddle. Listen up. Brown on 2 now. On two. Brown right, wing 2. 70 all out. He said wing out and up on 2. Ready?
Let's see if they jump on 1, considering Cumbie said it was on 2.
Go!
Cumbie on fourth down. Wide open Ingram. Touchdown. The defender fell down. Isaiah Trufant, and Ingram scores.
And Ingram just used Trufant to bite on the out and up. As you see, he's playing the wing position. This was an out and up route. So in selling it to the out, Trufant bites on that, thinking it's a 4th and 10 situation. He's going to run the short route. Ingram takes it long on the out and up into the end zone.
He's had at least 1 touchdown in 31 consecutive regular season games. Kevin Ingram and Davis for the extra point. And Los Angeles takes a 14-7 lead. Ingram, former Ironman of the Year, 2-time first-team All-AFL. The last time he did not have a touchdown in a game was May 7th, 2005, but he did have an interception return for a touchdown in that game. Arena football action continues on ESPN2 next Monday as Colorado heads to Dallas to take on the 2-0 Desperados. Russell Athletic ESPN Arena football on ESPN2 Monday at 8 Eastern time. Seen some great play through 2 weeks in AFL. Tony Graziani leading the league in touchdown passes with 14 for Philadelphia. And Sia Burley, will he come back on offense for Arizona after getting shaken up on the touchdown catch after hitting the back wall? He was a wide receiver at Central Florida, and Dante Culpepper was his quarterback in college. Arizona was able to win without Burley last week, but that was only a 1-point victory over Utah. Can they do it against an improved Los Angeles team? Many think will be a surprise. That hits off the iron and is ruled a touchback, so it'll go to the 5-yard line. It doesn't look good for Burley right now, at least for this series.
Hey, hard three. Right up, at zoom, 34, hit switch on hard three. Ready? Go! Hot!
Campbell with a quick throw, and it's incomplete, too high for Jarian James. And that will likely be the final play of the opening quarter.
If you press me like that next time, I'm gone. And that's disappointing for Lane Campbell to know that he doesn't have a Sia Burley in the lineup for the second consecutive week other than for one possession, because the pressure is on not only for the team, but it's also the pressure's on him to replace the legend.
14-7, Los Angeles leads Arizona after 1.
In racing, the lucky dog is the guy who gets his lap back after a caution flag. But at Aaron's, everybody's a lucky dog. At Aaron's, you can get a lap back on your credit no matter what your situation is, because there are no credit checks at Aaron's. You're pre-approved.
Here in the studio, here's a look at our top stories on SportsCenter right now. The Houston Rockets made it 19 straight wins. They beat the Nets tonight in Houston, 91-73. The Rockets only the 4th team in NBA history to win 19 or more in the same season. College basketball, West Coast Conference. 5 years ago, San Diego knocked off Gonzaga for the title. Gonzaga had won it every year since then, but San Diego rises up against the win tonight, 69-62. That's bad news for teams on the bubble, Dave.
Yeah, certainly going to put extra pressure staying on some of the teams in the big conferences like Syracuse and Florida. Meanwhile, Lane Campbell's William & Mary team knocked off by George Mason as we welcome you back to the second quarter here in Phoenix with Los Angeles leading 14-7. Campbell went to William & Mary. They played for the Colonial Championship tonight. Would have been their first trip to the NCAA tournament, but they came up short. Campbell, it was a walk-on, actually played a year of basketball at that school. Was a walk-on in football as well. Nice throw to Nickerson for the first down out near midfield.
Yeah, Campbell walked in on both football and basketball and said, whoever's going to give me the scholarship, I'm playing. Ends up being on the football team, but came out on the basketball team and scored 5 points. So obviously his strength was on the grass, not on the hardwood.
Hit a couple of free throws, and he said his one field goal was actually a goaltend. He hit a 3, but he said it probably shouldn't have been. It was a questionable goaltending call. Campbell overthrew his intended receiver, Trandon Harvey, but a penalty flag in the end zone. Terrell Mays on the coverage.
And it looks like Mays may have been called with a defensive holding in this situation. He could have been called, as you see, his back's to the football as well as his arms is on the jersey of Harvey. And with Sia Burley out of the lineup, they're going to look for
pass interference. Number 1, defense, 10-yard penalty, automatic first down.
And they're going to have to pick up the production with Harvey and James because of Sia Burley being on the sideline with the injury, and Kevin Nickerson, who had a great game last week, 9 catches for 100 yards. So look for them to pick up the slack.
And we'll give you an update on Burley when it's available. but not out there in this possession. Campbell able to find Foa, the fullback, and he's close to the first down and has it inside the 5.
And he just runs a swing route out of the backfield, and pretty athletic for a guy his size. You get the big hit on the quarterback who just dumps it to Foa, who's running the route. And Foa was a MVP of his basketball team. You wouldn't look at him on the football field and think he had that kind of body control and hands, but obviously he's a talent in 2 sports.
But I think he and Campbell have found their calling here. In football, here's Foa on the carry, and he's going to lose yardage. Drilled by Brandon Perkins and Justin Hickman. So a loss on the play. We have not had a red zone touchdown. LA's touchdowns in the first quarter were 47 and 27 yards. Arizona's was 15 yards.
And it's tough to run in the goal line. I mean, the red zone is tough to score in, especially running the football. And it's tough, you see, because the defenders can go sideline to sideline, and it's not as much room as it is in an outdoor game. So usually you have to score by throwing the ball.
Go.
Campbell pumps a couple times, chased out of the pocket, and throws it away. Another penalty flag down. Ken Jones put pressure on Campbell that time. That's Kevin Guy, the Arizona head coach in his first season. A lot of pressure on him, with ownership saying that
there's no penalty for the illegal defense. There was a pump fake by the quarterback.
So the Jack linebacker is able to go wherever when that happens. But Kevin Guy, how about the pressure that's on him, with ownership guaranteeing season ticket holders a refund if they don't go to the playoffs?
Yeah, and they downplay the pressure and say it's no extra pressure but extra motivation, because they already said that they're setting their expectations on making the playoffs. We'll see how it goes as the season prolongs.
Yeah, Kevin said, hey, I was in San Jose. We expect to win championships, and they did last year when he was their defensive coordinator. There's Campbell on 3rd down and goal. He's going to take off. Flag down. Campbell lost the ball. It goes out of bounds in the back of the end zone. It's going to be a touchback.
I was over. 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 It was over.
Campbell saying that he crossed the plane and it should be an Arizona touchdown.
Put him up.
The officials are going to confirm. And that is the ruling. It's a touchdown. And there is no replay in arena football. But again, there is a penalty flag down. All the ball has to do is cross the plane, and that's what happened there apparently.
Did he kick it in? He didn't kick it in.
I did not see a coach kick the ball.
Okay. Hey, I'm sorry, I don't know.
Bill McCabe, our referee. There's Mike Delaney wearing the hard hat. He's the umpire. Fortunately, Bill turned his mic off.
On the play, because it was a running play, runner crossed the goal line. The result of the play is a touchdown.
And Mike needed the hard hat on that play, because that running play was actually a pass play broken down. And crossing the plane is Lane Campbell was kind of close, huh? With no replay in the arena, you can see Damon Wheeler closing and going to strip on the ball, and it looks like maybe he stripped it down before he crossed the goal line.
Yeah, it looked like the ball was starting to come out there while he was at the 2-yard line, making his way toward the end zone. Extra point off the iron and no good. Actually almost hit Witzak on the redirection.
And with the goalposts only being 9 feet wide instead of 18 feet wide as they are in NFL, extra points and no gimmies as well.
6-play, 45-yard drive, and a 6-yard touchdown run by Lane Campbell. What do you think? Was he in?
The incredibly fuel-efficient Mitsubishi Outlander. Hop in. It's go time.
Big finish. Done.
Nobody gets you in a game like Discover Card. With insider cameras that get you closer to the players, into the huddle, onto the sidelines, even up on the Jumbotron. Get in the game with Discover Card, making every fan's AFL experience brighter.
Tape? Anybody else need... Dude, you need some tape?
Hey, fellas, check this out. First time I saw her, she set my world. You know, she set my world to reeling. And as the years go by for this country guy, well, we never lost the feeling. With this Billy Goat, I played my last note. I can't wait. I can't wait to get home. Viva Viagra.
Talk to your doctor about Viagra, America's most prescribed treatment for erectile dysfunction. Learn more at Viagra.com.
Viva Viagra.
Ask your doctor if your heart is healthy enough for sex. Don't take Viagra if you take nitrates for chest pain, as it may cause an unsafe drop in blood pressure. Side effects may include headache, flushing, upset stomach, and abnormal vision. To avoid long-term injury, seek immediate medical help for an erection lasting more than 4 hours. Stop taking Viagra and call your doctor right away if you experience a sudden decrease in vision or hearing.
ESPN's telecast of Russell Athletic Arena football is brought to you by Discover Card, making every fan's AFL experience brighter.
Yep, clear.
Back here in Phoenix. So Lane Campbell getting his right ankle taped after a 6-yard running play that gets Arizona within 1. Was Campbell in? Did he cross the plane of the goal line before the ball came out? The officials say yes, he did. Here's Marshall on the return, and he had it go through his hands. That's the second time that's happened tonight. Recovered in the end zone, and a touchback out to the 5-yard line as, again, Damon Wheeler was there. Let's take another look at that touchdown.
Yeah, I think Damon Wheeler got there. I mean, it's inches from the goal line, but yet and still, he did get the strip, it seems, as you can see better on this angle. The ball is moving before he gets there.
I was over. I was over. I was over.
Let's go. Wasn't even foul.
But it is ruled a touchdown, and again, no replay. Instant replay in arena football. Ward on the catch, Trufant on the tackle as Cumbie comes out firing after the Arizona touchdown. And now is Campbell shaken up. They're taping that ankle, and again, Sia Burley is top receiver. Got a touchdown pass, and then
Look how bad it is.
Lane Campbell needs to sell some real estate in this bad housing market out here in Arizona, because he did a good sell job right there and convincing the umpires and the referees that he had scored a touchdown.
And will Sia Burley be back? He did not play that last series as that pass was deflected at the line by Chris Robinson and incomplete.
And that's what you must do as a defender. You can't get to the quarterback, especially difficult in the AFL to get to the quarterback. You got to put your hands up and just knock down some of those balls, and it still counts against the record books, against the playbooks, as incomplete.
Los Angeles coming off a 9-7 season. They got their first playoff win in team history when they beat Utah behind Sonny Cumbie, who's in his 3rd year in AFL. And sidearms that one. It's incomplete, and a penalty flag flies in. Chris Robinson put pressure on the quarterback. Marshall was the intended receiver.
Illegal defense, number 31. Outside rush, 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
So illegal rush by Chris Robinson. Here's Burley on the touchdown catch. And after the TD getting stretched out, trying to loosen up those sore legs that kept him out of week 1. And still no update on his condition, but I'm sure Burley wants to get back out there. Kelly going to the end zone, underthrown and nearly intercepted by Isaiah Trufant. Damon Marshall, already with a touchdown catch today, was the intended receiver.
And Sonny has to get that ball with a little more air under it, underthrows it, allows Trufant to break on the ball and nearly get the interception.
Get a hole on this, right? Wing right, wing yo. 50 stop, 8 hole, on 1, ready?
Cumbie 6 of 12 for 118 yards and 2 touchdowns so far in the first half.
Go! Set!
Cumbie backing up and lobbing it for Ingram, overthrown. And the wall comes down as Craver was covering Ingram. So the padding, 4-foot-high padding in the end zone attached to the wall there came off. And as one player told us last week, that wall is undefeated.
Yeah, that wall is not going to lose any of the battles against the players. I don't care how big you are, how strong you are. The wall will wear the championship belt every week.
And Kevin Ingram kind of did an unintentional Gus Farrat there. Little noggin to the padding. But Ingram, unlike Farrat, able to continue. Cumbie in trouble, and down he goes. Back at the 20-yard line. Gaines and Hawthorne team up on the sack.
And the Avengers are known for their first pass rush up front with their fierce pass defenders. But Wendell Gaines shows that also Arizona has something to be reckoned with in their defensive line. Out of Oklahoma State, just a massive defensive end who's allowed to power rush and power rush the offensive guard right to the quarterback.
And that's the 3rd sack for Arizona. Gaines has had a terrific arena football career. And there was reports that Eric Swan, former Cardinal, was working out and wanted to play arena football, but Kevin Guy, the head coach, says that is not true, as that pass is intercepted. No, it's caught. Now, wait, it was picked off. The ruling was a touchdown, but that's an interception. It was picked off. Nope, touchdown. It is a touchdown by LaShawn Ward, who caught it.
That's a touchdown.
Off the wall. That's a live
Offside,
ball.
number 99 defense. The penalty is declined. Result of the play is a touchdown.
So Ward, with that being a live ball, catching it off the padding for the Los Angeles touchdown.
And this is where physical and mental abilities come into play, because the smarts of Ward to know that this ball is still live off the padding is what allowed him to catch the touchdown. He didn't give up on the play just because the ball was on the pads.
And actually went out of bounds and hit a fan, came back in, but ruled a touchdown. And now David Davis on for the extra point.
And touchdowns happen in arena football in wild and wacky ways, and we just saw that there, where it could hit a fan, it could hit the sideboards, and still count on the scoreboard for 6 points.
So Ingram, Marshall, and Ward all at touchdowns for LA.
You know what? You've earned this. Never fled from Spalding. True to the game.
Crushing some live sports last night. Watched some NBA, NASCAR, rugby.
Sounds like a lot of sports there, fella.
Excuse me?
You heard me.
Sounds like somebody's a little insecure about their fanhood. Guys, you challenge my fanhood, you meet this. That's barbed wire. Goes all the way around, friend. Boop, 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 boop.
Watch more live sports online than ever before on ESPN360.com and always defend your fanhood.
Did you hear that?
It's our first night in the new house. Do you have any check?
Okay.
I saw a guy trying to break in.
Hello?
This is Andy from Brinks Home Security. Are you all right?
My husband saw someone try to break in.
I'm sending help right now.
Call 1-800-509-0935 now to blanket your home with protection from Brinks Home Security and install a personalized system for just $99. Inside, Brinks delivers peace of mind to you and your family with state-of-the-art sensors and detectors engineered to help protect and alert. Brinks Home Security, dedicated to rapid response and peace of mind 24 hours a day. Call now.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Esurance would like to do a more serious auto insurance commercial for your viewing pleasure.
What's not serious about a special agent fighting crime with an insurance job as her cover?
I hate to let you down, young lady, but you're a cartoon. Cartoons are not real. Ooh, careful, you might smudge. Oh, thank you.
Esurance always has you covered. Day or night, you can always
quote by Green
at esurance.com.
Yeah. I want to slow down. He slowed down.
Yeah.
3 touchdown passes for Sonny Cumbie in the first half, giving him 10 on the season.
It didn't hit the bill? No, it hit the top of the wall, but it hit the inside of the wall. Yeah.
And you hear him talking with Ward about the last touchdown pass that we'll take a look at, which should not have counted. Should have been a dead ball as it went out of play, hit a fan, and came back in. Kevin Nickerson on the return. Off the net, out to the 5, to the 10. And Nickerson up around midfield. Terrell Mays on the tackle.
And what we need to focus on is out here, because the ball by Trufant is defended and actually hits out of bounds and hits this young lady on the forearm, and that allows the ball to ricochet back into play for the touchdown, which shouldn't be a touchdown because if the ball goes out of play, obviously it should be a dead ball.
Yeah, but it's a fan out of bounds, and instead it was ruled a touchdown. Looked initially at first, it just when things were happening so fast that it was picked off by Trufant. Cy Burley back out there. That's great news for the Rattlers. Campbell eluding pressure to the end zone. That's a live ball, and trying to adjust is James, and he can't come up with it. Incomplete.
It's not many times you see a receiver have to actually backpedal, but that's what James did. Knowing that the ball was going to be overthrown, he decided to play defender and backpedal, and nearly missing this ball and then this completion for a touchdown.
That's like a catcher in foul territory.
Z short, 92, Z smash, X stay. 3-on-3, ready?
And Campbell, you saw the right ankle getting taped earlier, and he's limping. 4 of 9, 60 yards, 1 touchdown pass, 1 touchdown rush, and now an interception. He throws that right to Canonico. And Canonico returns it to the 20.
And that's a tough ball to throw. If you're Lane Campbell, as you said, he's limping right now, so he didn't get his legs into that throw his hips into that throw, and that's a touch pass that you got to actually have some strength to get it over the cornerback. So as he throws this ball, doesn't have enough under to get over the defender as the receiver sitting there on the corner waiting for the ball. Easy interception.
You have to go, dude. Hey, I couldn't push off that time.
That's right, but hey, what about the corner? That's the last thing I said to you.
I know, if I got air on it, it was good.
No. Hey, that corner was way.
Lane Campbell talking with Skip Foster, the offensive coordinator. Jeff Smoker is the backup former Michigan State Spartan, and he's got his helmet on and is warming up. Here's Tamont, right ankle, said he couldn't push off of it.
Yeah, and that's what you need as a quarterback. Most people think that it's about your arm strength, but it's also about your hips and your legs. You have to get your base under you when you throw the long balls, and that's what he didn't have. He couldn't push off with the ankle, which allowed the ball to sail on him.
And there's Smoker warming up. Cumbie looking for his 4th touchdown pass, instead batted away by Shropshire, former 7th-round draft choice of the Atlanta Falcons. Smoker spent last year with Nashville. He was drafted by the St. Louis Rams back in 2004. Former Michigan State Spartan. He'll likely be coming in on the next series. Here's Cumbie behind his intended receiver, Jared Hicks, and incomplete. Marshall tried to catch up to it on the redirection. There is a penalty flag down.
Holding, number 1, defense, penalties half the distance to the goal, automatic first down.
That's on Isaiah Trufant.
Big people, that quick screen, H drive on 1, right?
Cumbie dumps it off to Ford. Touchdown, Los Angeles. 285-pound Lonnie Ford with the touchdown catch.
I'll tell you what I'm doing.
Sonny Cumbie just allows the play to develop deeper down and then in the end zone and just dumps it off to Ford, F-250, who just trots into the end zone. No one wants to get in the way of him.
Fourth touchdown pass for Cumbie, giving him 11 on the season.
Good call, Coach. Good call. My fault, baby.
Tipping his hat to Ed Hodgkiss and Brett Winter, the offensive coordinator. Extra point makes it 28-13 Los Angeles.
And what you do is you allow the play to develop down the field, let the defenders drop in coverage, hit the fullback right in the flats for the easy touchdown. And that's right up Lonnie Ford's alley. He's known for his rushing touchdowns, which is difficult to get in arena football. He also has good hands, and as you can see, he's a load to bring down. And I hope he's not mad at me for calling him Ford F-250. But I'm pretty high up here in the booth.
You could take him. So both Burley and Campbell banged up for Arizona. Burley was out there on that last series when Campbell threw an interception. 3 plays, 30 yards later, Cumbie with another touchdown pass to Ford. And it appears that Smoker will go out there for Arizona when the Rattlers get the ball back.
And Arizona, they're playing this season with the guarantees to the season ticket holders that they're going to make the playoffs. And it's a difficult task when you lose your top guns. You lose your quarterback and you lose Sire Burley all in the first half. A difficult uphill battle for the Rattlers.
I think that guy right there could use a refund.
Or a one-way ticket back to Oakland. A Raider fan that's lost.
Here's Nickerson. Stumbles out to the 8-yard line. Well, that guarantee by the Arizona front office, famous. I don't know if it's in the class of these. Muhammad Ali, when he was Cassius Clay back in 1964, declaring he'd beat Sonny Liston, of course, Joe Namath in Super Bowl III, guaranteeing a win over the Colts. Mark Messier in the Eastern Conference Finals, guaranteeing a victory for the Rangers prior to Game 6. Rangers went on to win Game 7 and win the Stanley Cup in 7, ending a 54-year drought for the Stanley Cup. Of course, the Rattler fans don't want a refund. They want their team to make the postseason. Here's Smoker, and on his first play, he is welcomed by a fistful of Josh Jeffries. It is an incompletion. Here's another guarantee that didn't work out as well as those aforementioned guys.
The Adler's won the toss. We want the ball, we're going to score.
Oops. Al Harris says, I don't think so, and the Packers win it in overtime.
Matt Hasselbeck was sick on that play.
Anthony Smith of the Pittsburgh Steelers, his guarantee that they would beat the Patriots didn't work out so well this year either, as Nickerson couldn't come up with a catch. Mays on the coverage. And if the Rattlers do not make the playoffs, they're going to lose approximately $2.2 million because they've got to refund their season ticket holders.
Well, that'll make the snake rattle, wouldn't it? Losing $2.2 million.
Fred Bucci, the new operating partner after 11 years with the Orlando Predators. Here's James with a catch on 3rd down and long out near midfield. Damon Wheeler on the tackle.
Left trip.
And talking to Lane Campbell, he said there was no extra pressure, just extra motivation to live up to that guarantee and to make the playoffs. But being on the sidelines and along with Sire Burley, obviously that's going to make it a difficult task.
And Burley back out there for Arizona. Smoker is the quarterback after his first completion. Smoker facing pressure again. Burley adjusting. What a catch! Touchdown, Arizona.
For the old trickery, I'm hurt. The old Charlie Brown move, you can't play, but you can score touchdowns. And obviously his legs are not feeling too sore on that play as he adjusts to the ball as it's thrown in the air. just a post corner route and great body control, as you can see, especially with a guy who's playing with injured legs, to come back and adjust to the ball in the air and to make the completion and the touchdown.
2 touchdown catches for Burley, the offensive player of the year in arena football with Utah. He set the AFL record a year ago for catches and receiving yards, and also had 49 touchdowns. Here's a fake as they go for 2. The direct snap to Chris Robinson, and he's in.
A little early trickery here, as you can see, and it's effective. When you know that your top guns are ailing, you start to go a little deeper in the playbook. You start to be a little more creative just to make up some more of these points. So the Avengers are expecting the traditional field goal, extra point kick. Not such. Chris Robinson in for the 2 points.
And Arizona pulls it within 7. Burley with 2 TDs, first of the day for Smoker.
As a national holiday yourself, how do you feel about the Brewers of Guinness petitioning to make St. Patrick's Day an official holiday?
Wow. You have got some brass, son.
Please drink responsibly. Introducing Pizza Hut's new Pizza Mia Pizza, made with whole milk mozzarella and sauce made from vine ripened tomatoes. Get 3 or more medium one-topping Pizza Mia pizzas for just $5 each every day. $5? $5 never tasted so good. Pizza Hut.
Come on now. I love it.
Don't miss Arena Bowl 22, New Orleans. For tickets, call 1-866-AFL-TICKS.
I'll get that. I think I tweaked a hammy. You ever tweak a hammy? I know one thing, it's better than tweaking a glute.
Nobody gets you in the game like Discover Card. Get on the field, get in the huddle, even get up close with the players. Get in the game with Discover Card, making every fan's AFL experience brighter.
You getting pruny?
Why are energy drinks bad? 12 spoons of sugar? That's bad. 200 calories? Bad. Guarana? Tisk, tisk. Good for a short jittery burst, then a debilitating crash. So don't drink energy drinks. Drink 5-Hour Energy. It's not a drink, more like a sip. But with that sip, you'll feel alert and focused for hours, without the crash or jitters. It has 0 sugar, only 4 calories, and no guarana. 5-Hour Energy. Hours of energy now, no crash later.
I'm Stan Verrett, coming up on the Sports Center Halftime Report presented by Mitsubishi Motors. The Rockets going for 19 in a row. We'll see if they can extend their franchise record win streak. Plus 4 more teams are into the NCAA tournament. We'll show you how they got there. All coming up on the Sports Center Halftime Report presented by Mitsubishi Motors in just a minute.
A great time of year with championship week and the early stages of the AFL season. Week 2, one of these teams will go to 2-0 after tonight. Los Angeles leading by 7. And Jeff Smoker with his first touchdown pass of the season, with Lane Campbell out right now anyway with a sprained right ankle. Smoker with Nashville last year at 57 touchdown passes. And Tamon Marshall, who had 6 kick returns for touchdowns a year ago, back to receive for Los Angeles.
And it's important for Smoker to come in and play his game and not get caught up in the pressures of replacing a legend and replacing the starting quarterback in one game.
Touchback, it'll come out to the 5-yard line. Yeah, you're talking about the legend Cedric Bonner, who's now in Chicago. Went to a handful of arena bowls here in Arizona, and now Smoker and Campbell are charged with leading the Rattlers back to the postseason after only a 4-win season a year ago. They were world champs back in '94 and '97, and from 2002 to 2004 they lost 3 consecutive arena bowls, and they've only been to the playoffs once since. Nonetheless, the guarantee from ownership to refund season ticket holders if they make it, or if they don't make it, excuse me. Cumbie with 4 touchdown passes already, and Marshall playing a little defense there. with Eric Williams on the coverage. Clock will stop inside of a minute on incompletions. ESPN's coverage of championship week continuing with first-round action from the Big East Championship. Syracuse taking on Villanova Wednesday at noon. And a Wednesday night at Cincinnati and Pittsburgh. And you have to wonder, with San Diego winning tonight the WCC Championship, does that put more pressure on teams like Pittsburgh and Syracuse to win games in the Big East tournament?
Go!
Cumbie finds Ingram, and the clock stops and out-of-bounds plays as well inside of a minute. Trufant pushed him out. So out-of-bounds plays and incomplete passes inside of a minute, the only time the clock will stop for those particular plays.
Yeah, and inside a minute in arena football takes a little longer, sort of like in the NBA at the end of the half and end of the game. That's where you can stop the ball only if you get forward progress and positive yardage.
Hold on. Time out.
So one timeout remaining for Sonny Cumbie in Los Angeles.
Mac and them, I got lined up wrong. I didn't have enough time to switch them. So that's a good play.
No. Well, we got down to one timeout here. Let's go Brown right, okay. H.O. 30 hitch. That's the press state. Tell Ward to take it now, all right? Let's go 30 hitch at slant.
That's our In the Game presented by Discover Card.
One time, yeah, okay. Here we go. Hey, the press, Ward. Out. Good exact. Press. Brown right. H.O. 30 hitch, S slant on the one. Ready? Yeah.
And we're looking for a slant right by Marshall to run a slant route.
And Cumbie going downfield, knocked away by Trufant. It was intended for Ward, but a great play by Marcus Trufant's younger brother.
And Trufant shows great closing speed. I've seen on several plays this half where the ball and the receiver may be in perfect course, but with his speed and his athletic ability, he comes in once again doing this the textbook way. One hand on the receiver, one hand for the ball to ensure that in case you miss the ball, you can at least make the tackle.
So 4th down and 1. They're going to run it with Ford. And why not? At 285 Bills, and he gets the first down.
Well, the wall may be undefeated, but I think it just got his first tie. Because the Ford looked like he damaged that sign over there.
He is 9th in AFL history in rushing yards and was 2nd in the AFL in rushing touchdowns with 19 last year. That's because nobody could tackle him.
Yeah, you see the wall. If a wall could talk, it might have said ouch on that play.
Cumbie on 1st down, going for Ward. Trufant is there. Ward makes the catch anyway. Touchdown, L.A. That's 2 spectacular touchdown catches by LaShawn Ward.
And it's a give and take when you see Isaiah Trufant get beat on this play by Ward. He makes great plays, and at the same time, he gets himself out of position and doesn't really have a great beat on the ball. And Ward is in perfect position to make this. Just a fly pattern, just outruns them, and more importantly, in the air, has the body control to make the touchdown reception.
What do you think of this kid, Sonny Cumbie? That's 5 TD passes in the first half.
Well, it's always sunny in Los Angeles, so he's living up to that right now.
That's 12 touchdown passes this season. Tony Graziani coming into tonight has the most with 14 in 2 weeks, but Cumbie might beat that by a long shot.
High five.
And Sonny Cumbie's passed for 7,600 yards in his first 2 seasons. That's the most ever by a quarterback in arena football history. So there's no knack on his talent. At the same time, he's thrown a few interceptions, 7 interceptions in the last 2 regular season ball games going back to last year. So he must be more consistent for them to have success.
If you're a college football fan, you certainly remember what he did at Texas Tech. Led the NCAA in passing in 2004. He was a walk-on back in 2000 in Lubbock and still resides there. Does radio color commentary on Texas Tech's football broadcast. Says he was a bit surprised when Bob Knight, the former men's basketball coach at Texas Tech, stepped down, but said everybody in Lubbock pretty high on Bob's son Pat, now the head coach there. 5 touchdowns already for Sonny Cumbie.
And it's important that we don't add one more statistic to that, and that's the interception column. And that's the only knack on him, is he must protect the ball. And he even admitted yesterday, talking to him, that he must protect the football in order to have success. As Coach Hopkins says, as Sonny goes, so does the Avengers season go.
And they lead by 14 points, but 28.6 seconds, a lot of time in arena football with a 50-yard field and the clock stopping and incompletions and out-of-bounds plays. For more arena football a week from tonight in Dallas, Colorado takes on the Desperados. Russell Athletic ESPN Arena Football on ESPN2 Monday at 8 Eastern. No Clint Dalzell. Quarterback for Dallas banged up, but Dallas still 2-0. And an injured quarterback tonight for Arizona. The starter Lane Campbell is not out there for the second straight series because of a right ankle problem, and so Jeff Smoker is back up, fresh off a touchdown pass, out there for a second series. Smoker going over the middle to Nickerson. First down to the 28-yard line. Arizona with all of its timeouts remaining, and will use one here.
And that's what you want to do if you're Smoker. You just come out in your first 2 possessions to get your feet wet, and he came out in his first possession and threw a touchdown pass, and in this one, throwing a completion, 3 of 5, 55 yards, and that's all you can ask for. You just want to come out, fit in with the guys, get the chemistry going early, because sometimes sitting on the sidelines, you get out of rhythm with the guys, but obviously he picked it up right on stride.
Was the number 3 quarterback with the St. Louis Rams in 2004 after getting drafted in the 6th round. Played his college ball in Michigan State. 2 timeouts remaining for Arizona, 20 seconds to go. But a 14-point deficit, nothing in arena football. See his numbers from last season with Nashville in a 7-win season. Smoker in trouble and sacked back at the 10-yard line. A free-for-all with Jones and Stewart, each getting a shot in back at the 10.
And that's the strength of the Los Angeles Avengers on defense, is their defensive line. And it is a jailbreak. You see Jason Stewart, Jay Stu as they call him, coming up the middle, and Ken Jones, who comes from Columbus, and bringing those 9.5 sacks, already having 2 sacks in this ball game. And they must do that to get after the quarterback, Smoker, as he comes into the ball game replacing Lane Campbell. Last thing he wants to see is 300-pounders laying on him every play.
Second sack for Jones. First team all arena last year with Columbus at 9.5 sacks a year ago. And if Smoker takes another shot, they might need to go to Marcellus Wiley to play quarterback. You were, as you told me last week, 6 foot 180 at one point. Did you play quarterback in high school?
No, I didn't play quarterback. I couldn't throw it 5 yards.
Smoker going downfield. James with a catch out of bounds. That'll stop the clock with 7.3 seconds. And Arizona still with a timeout.
But I could go down there with Jay Stu and Ken Jones and try and strap it up one more time off that defensive line.
Well, there was rumors about Eric Swan making a comeback with Arizona that were quickly shot down by head coach Kevin Guys to see James make the catch.
Yeah, you can see Eric Swan coming out for a workout, and you may be impressed with his physical skills, but when he turns in that birth certificate and you see 1950s as a birth date, I don't think that's good for the youth on your team.
I don't think Swanee's going to be happy with you after hearing that. Penalty flag down.
I might change my flight just because you said that.
He does live here, you know.
Yeah, I might be out of here tonight, you know.
We've had a lot of penalties here in the first half. And the umpire, Delaney, you see wearing the hard hat. being tested in AFL. What do you think he feels like wearing that thing? I mean, I know it's going to protect his head, and that's the point of it, obviously, but they're going to take some getting used to.
Almost definitely. I mean, it's what the motorcyclists always say about the helmet law. It takes some getting used to.
Delay a game. Offense, 5-yard penalty, remains 3rd down.
But being in the middle of these quote-unquote car crashes that happen every play in the AFL, it's smart, and it would be wise of him to get used to it pretty quickly, as some of the players also have the sensors on the back of their helmets to protect them from some of the head injuries and prevent some concussions.
3rd down and 6. 1 timeout remaining for Arizona. Again, the clock would stop here on an out-of-bounds play or an incompletion. Smoker, and that pass into the stands. And the clock should have stopped there with about a second left. And that's our Aaron's Lucky Dog fan of the game. Nice catch. And apparently that's the end of the half. It looked like still perhaps a second on the clock when that went out of bounds, and the officials now are calling the Avengers back to their bench.
Please put 3 seconds on the clock. 3 seconds, please.
And speaking to the penalties in this first half, we have seen a lot, and that's not usual for the Avengers, who was 3rd in the league and least penalized, and Arizona was the least penalized team in the AFL last year. So both teams are not playing traditional football as far as the penalties go.
So 3 seconds remaining. They're going to try a field goal
watch
here.
out before we get a penalty.
Jason Witzak will attempt a field goal. 38-yard try. Our 11th penalty of the first half.
False start, number 70. Offense, 5-yard penalty, remains 4th down.
And one of the stats also for the Avengers last year is their opponents were 1st in the league for the most penalized teams. So they have a knack for making other teams play some undisciplined ball and to get penalties.
And that may have been blocked. Returnable for Marshall. Los Angeles can get points here at the end of the half, as Campbell was out there for Arizona despite being injured. He may have gotten hurt worse there. He made the tackle, but now he's hobbling off the field. It was tipped. Brandon Perkins got a hand on it. And if not for Lane Campbell, Kevin Guy's quarterback, Marshall might have scored a touchdown. Halftime, Los Angeles 35, Arizona 21.
Hey now, energy and smart, energy and smart. Have a stash of energy out there. Team on 3, 1, 2, 3. Focus. It's a tight ball game. That's the way arena football is. Close the game. Let's go.
Welcome back to this ESPN presentation of Russell Athletic Arena Football Monday. Los Angeles leading Arizona 35-21 as we get ready to start the third quarter here in Phoenix. With Marcellus Wiley, I'm Dave Pash, and Los Angeles quarterback Sonny Cumbie. Pretty impressive, Marcellus, 5 TD passes in the first half.
Yes, what's impressive is he's spreading the ball all around, and Sonny Cumbie has been struggling of late with throwing the interceptions, 3 last week. But this week, no interceptions, so the fact that he's going out there playing mistake-free football is why they're up at the half.
Meanwhile, are you concerned if you're Kevin Guy? Your starting quarterback Lane Campbell's banged up. Jeff Smoker came in and did have a touchdown pass at the end of the first half and has his helmet on. Apparently will start the third quarter. Nickerson was out of bounds, so it's a touchback, and Arizona will start at the 5-yard line. Now, Smoker had a good year in Nashville last season, but again, you chose Lane Campbell as your starting quarterback coming out of camp for a reason. So is that a concern if you're the Rattlers?
Well, it should be a concern just because you're not going with your starter, and right now Lane Campbell being injured allows Smoker to go for another audition. It gives him another chance, as we see Lane Campbell over there on the sideline in crutches. And Smoker came out and had a good first half of 4 for 7 and no interceptions with the 1 touchdown. So Smoker must continue to try to fill those shoes and to get some points on the board.
Smoker from his own end zone on first down, going for Nickerson, and he was out of bounds. He was pushed out to the sidewall by Mays. Lane Campbell, as mentioned, a sprained right ankle, suffered in the first half.
Hey, I'm gonna go. Just be ready. Just be ready. Stay loose. Yeah. That thing was like the size of my fist, right off the bat. Yeah. I just can't push off of it to throw.
And Smoker came in and threw a touchdown pass, going to work again here. There was contact as Canonico collides with Jarian James, but it's incomplete.
And Smoker did come in and came in ready, and more importantly, they're just coming and continuing with the offense is not to come in and make any mistakes. And so far this game, Smoker has come in and done just that, play mistake-free football, and that's all you can ask for when the backup who's thrown into the fire in the first half.
Again, Campbell was out there at the end of the first half holding and then trying to make a tackle after a missed field goal. You wonder if he hurt it worse on that play, as James is pushed to the wall, and you're out of bounds in arena football when you're touched by a defender and forced to the wall. Let's take a look here. This is Campbell. This is at the very end of the first half. Marshall on the return after the missed field goal. And you see the right ankle, the foot just hit the wall pretty hard. Kevin Guy electing to put Campbell out there for that, maybe with the idea that he would be back in the second half, but it appears now that he's not coming back at all in this game as Nickerson makes the first down catch inside the 15. Wheeler on the stop.
And that was a great ball just because it allowed them to throw the football over the linebacker who was breaking on it, but just right under the cornerback, and to get the completion. So this is a touch pass. This is one of those passes you have to have the timing, have the rhythm down, and it's good to see Smoker getting in rhythm with Nickerson in the second half.
Smoker trying to lead Arizona back, a 14-point deficit, really nothing in arena football. Smoker, one of 18 new players on this Rattler roster, as Smoker gets tagged in the backfield, throws it up into the stands. Stewart and Jeffries got pressure on Smoker that time. Arizona went 4-12 a year ago, and what does ownership do? They make changes, 18 new players, a new head coach, only 6 returning players, and they guarantee their season ticket holders a refund if they don't make the playoffs.
And I think he made that guarantee thinking he would have his #1 receiver and starting quarterback in the lineup. And Sia Burley's out there, but he's not at 100%, and he's going with the backup Smoker because of injury.
Yeah, Burley did not play last week because of sore legs. That pass a little bit behind James, though probably should have caught it at the 10-yard line. Arizona won despite Burley not playing last week. Nickerson had a big game, had 3 receiving touchdowns and a rushing score. Harvey and James both had a pair of touchdown catches in that game. Lane Campbell actually threw 8 touchdown passes last week in the win over Utah. Who's going to step up here in the second half at that position for the Rattlers? Smoker off his back foot overthrew Burley, who did have 2 touchdown catches in the first half. Wheeler on the coverage that time. What would that have been like, Marcellus, for you as a Buffalo Bill or a Cowboy or a Charger playing in the NFL if ownership would have come out and made a guarantee like that, where you refund season ticket holders for not making the playoffs? And there's Brett Bucci, operating partner and the new owner of this Rattler franchise.
Well, that would have been tough. I mean,
a lot of pressure, isn't it? As Smoker tries to get out of trouble and can't, sacked by Perkins back at the 17.
Yeah, it's tough just because it affects the community. I mean, everyone is going to get excited as a fan to see you come out there and produce and get into the playoffs. But as a player, you got to start to think that, okay, these games mean a little more than just me going out there and playing, because this is affecting the economics. If my organization has to give back a couple $1 million, that payroll is affected for the next year. So as a player, you need to perform so you don't get that salary cut next year.
Is that the Grim Reaper?
Forget about what happened in that first half. I know each and every one of his destiny was to be part of this football team tonight. And I know our team's destiny is to be champions. Look at me now. We will win this football game. Yeah! Woo! We will win this game. Yeah. Let's get a hand in here. 1, 2, 3. Win!
Nobody gets you in a game like Discover Card. Get in the huddle, get on the field, and maybe even get the game ball. Get in the game with Discover Card, making every fan's AFL experience brighter.
Go! Let's do it! Hey.
The few, the proud, the Marines.
ESPN's telecast of Russell Athletic Arena football is brought to you by Aaron's. With over 1,500 stores nationwide, everyone is a lucky dog at Aaron's. And the United States Marine Corps. The few, the proud, the Marines. Welcome back to Phoenix, where Arizona trails Los Angeles by 2 scores. Sonny Cumbie back on the field, 5 touchdown passes. Arizona came up with no points after a 7-play drive. It took just almost 4 minutes. That's the 3rd stop for Los Angeles' defense. $12 touchdown passes on the young season now for Cumbie, at 83 a year ago. And he finds Kevin Ingram here on 1st down, driven into the wall by Isaiah Trufant. Let's listen in. Sonny Cumbie is wired for sound tonight.
Good job, baby. Good job. Come hit me again, baby. Woo!
You got to love a guy that plays with that kind of passion, huh?
You do. I mean, you look at Sonny Cumbie bringing that kind of energy to the ball game, to game day. I mean, that excitement is contagious, and players respond to that. As you see, the NFL is going to miss Brett Favre. It's just that kind of personality on the game day, on the field, that players feel that, and they pick their game up to play just as well to show that same emotion.
Marshall on the catch to the 15-yard line. I wonder how you would have reacted as a defensive lineman, Marcellus, though, when the quarterback says, come hit me again.
We'll be on our backup if I had to hit him again.
Go!
Cumbie going for Marshall. And some contact in the end zone by Trufant, and a penalty flag down. Marshall hit the wall pretty hard. A little bit slow to get up.
And it looks like he was tripped up on the play running the post corner route into the corner of the end zone. We'll see what the flag is.
5 catches, 99 yards, and a touchdown for Marshall. Was the pass catchable? It clearly was overthrown. But I guess because you have the wall, it can ricochet off of it. When is it not
Pass
catchable?
interference, number 1, defense, 10-yard penalty, automatic 1st down.
When we had a touchdown in the first half, the pass looked uncatchable. It hit a fan and came back in and was ruled a touchdown catch.
Yeah, on this play, It's just the defender is running for the ball and looking up, but it looks unintentional, but yet still it impairs the progress and doesn't allow the receiver to get to the ball, so that is a penalty.
Go! Set!
Cumbie with time and out of bounds, intended for Kevin Ingram. Cravert almost made the play defensively.
Here we go now. Let's go. Rage right. Wing loop. 370. All slant. S smash. On one. Ready. Make it quick, Kevin. Quick.
Talking to Kevin Ingram there, saying make it quick. And that's who Cumbie's looking for, but Ingram's covered. And the pass thrown away. There are 2 penalty flags down. But Cumbie was looking for Ingram that time.
Yeah, he wanted Ingram to run his smash route quick as everyone else ran the slant. And it looked like a lot of holding in the defensive backfield. So we'll see what it is.
There were 2 penalties on the play. Holding, number 25 on the offense. Holding, number 5 on the defense. The penalty's offset. We'll replay the down. Second down.
There was holding on the offense, holding in the defensive backfield. Might have been holding in the fans. And Ingram ran into a wall with the jam on the line of scrimmage by Williams. And just the harassment right there is obviously going to get you a flag. You can't impair the progress, impede the progress after 5 yards. And that's going to be a penalty every time.
So offsetting penalties, 2nd and goal. 12 total penalties in the game so far. Cumbie. And again, there was contact in the end zone. Trufant slowed up Ingram. This time no penalty flag. It'll bring up 3rd down.
Yeah, they could have easily called another penalty on Trufant that time. Getting out of position, getting beat deep in the end zone. Once again, we have Ingram running through, and on that play, it was probably Ingram more at fault just running over Trufant. Yet still, as a defender, you're not supposed to be in a position where you get ran over and you hold him as he runs you over.
A touchdown for Ingram. 31 straight regular season games in which he's caught a touchdown pass. Cumbie looking for him, but instead Cumbie going to get sacked by Wendell Gaines at the 10-yard line. Hawthorne there as well. It'll bring up 4th down.
And Cumbie was just looking for Ingram. He just had his sights focused on Ingram and Ingram only, and drifting in the pocket allowed the quarterback sack, just holding the ball a little too long. And that'll make it easy for Wendell Gaines to get the sack as the quarterback actually just drifted over to him. So his sights, as you can see, his vision is just strictly on Ingram. And as he drifts over to the side, he just falls into the lap of Wendell Gaines for the sack.
And David Davis will come on to try a 25-yard field goal. And he puts it through. 3 more points for Los Angeles. The Avengers by 17.
ESPN360.com, your online home for live coverage of Championship Week. Experience total control with the ability to pause, rewind, and fast forward. It's TV quality picture with the power of choice. Go online and watch all the drama of Championship Week unfold live. Catch the games you missed or replay your favorite moments. Don't miss a second of the action. Watch Championship Week presented by Dick's Sporting Goods, March 7th through the 16th on ESPN360.com.
Getting more out of your DirecTV just got a whole lot easier. More style. More action. More family fun. Great tunes. More movie madness. Choice Extra from DirecTV. Over 30 extra channels for as low as $5 more per month. Upgrade today. Go to DirecTV.com or call 1-800-531-5000.
What the deuce do cartoons have to do with auto insurance?
Cartoon car insurance.
Let's get more informed with this dictionary of auto insurance terms. For example, comprehensive coverage may assist with compensation for damages from objects pulled by gravitational forces onto an auto, thus resulting in requisite repair.
In other words, if something falls on your car, comprehensive coverage can pay to fix it.
Righty-ho.
Quote by print.
Instantly at eShore.
6-play, 24-yard drive for Los Angeles, but Arizona comes up with a stop on 4th down. The Avengers settle for a field goal and lead by 17. Davis to kick it away to Kevin Nickerson. Nickerson across the 5 and up to the 7. We're pleased to be joined now by the managing partner and new owner of the Arizona Rattlers, Brett Bushy, after 11 seasons in Orlando. Brett, welcome to Phoenix, and you promptly make a bold statement as you guarantee your season ticket holders a refund if you don't make the playoffs. You taking it back?
You know what? I'm a little surprised, but I'm very, very confident in my team. We have a great team. Kevin Guy's a great head coach, and we've had some injuries, and I think we're going to come back and win this game.
Now, when did you decide that you were going to offer that refund opportunity to your season ticket holders? Was it right when you bought the team, or was it when you got here and looked at your new roster and your new coaching staff as Smoker goes deep and overthrows Burley?
Well, actually, it was 2 days after we signed Sia Burley. And the second thing is I went to my other partners in the team, and there were 7 partners, and I wanted to make sure that I didn't have any divisiveness between the ownership group, and all 7 guys were supportive of it. They knew it was the first time this has ever happened in professional sports. The team guaranteed their season ticket holders their money back if they didn't make the playoffs. So everybody loved the idea, and I have a lot of confidence. And when I was in Orlando, a lot of the credit goes to Jay Gruden, but I was in the playoffs 11 straight years.
Here's Smoker, your backup quarterback, coming on for the injured Lang Campbell, and he overthrows Jerry and James incomplete.
And Brett, what was your motivation in making the guarantee?
You know what? I will tell you is that one of the things the Rattlers had a lot of sellouts in the late 90s, and I wanted to get that team back where it was relevant. We'd seen their season tickets decline down to about 5,000. This year we've seen an increase of about 50% of our season ticket holders, and that was the thing, is I was trying to stand out in a crowded market here in Arizona, and it's really helped that.
Hey, Brett, thanks for your time, and best of luck to you the rest of the season.
I appreciate it. I do think the refs maybe are season ticket holders, too.
Brett Bushy, operating partner and owner of the Arizona Rattlers. Got to be pleased with that right there. Burley making another acrobatic catch. Wheeler on the stop, but it's a first down for the Rattlers.
And after meeting Sia Burley in person and seeing him on the practice field for 2 days, Brett Bushy decided to make that guarantee. And as I see Sia Burley out there today, not even at 100%, still having the body control and still having the awareness to make some difficult catches and still being effective despite being hampered by the leg soreness. As you can see, he's just tremendous talent and tremendous body control. It's not always about the routes you run. Sometimes about your awareness during the route.
And he had a great catch for a touchdown in the first half, where the pass was behind him and a little bit wide of him, and had to make like a center fielder adjust to the ball and make a basket catch for a touchdown. Another penalty flag.
Prior to the snap, false start, number 67. Offense, 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
That's Calvin Armstrong, one-time Washington Redskins. Take a look at the Coors Light cold hard facts. As Brett Bushy was talking about, the Rattlers 12 straight seasons making the playoffs, but they've only been there once since their Arena Bowl defeat in 2004. And Cedric Bonner is now with Chicago. Jeff Smoker is now the quarterback, coming in for an injured Lang Campbell. And 2 players go over the wall. James, the intended receiver, and Canonico, the defender, and that pass incomplete.
And the Rattlers have had a hangover since that Arena Bowl loss in 2004, missing the playoffs the last 2 or 3 seasons, as once again the wall is undefeated and Smoker's pass is just a little too wide in the field of play. And making a guarantee like that changes the mindset. It changes the locker room. It changes your mentality to make you say, okay, we're out here playing for something, and to get over that hangover that has plagued the team in the last 3 years.
Over there. No, to the field.
Smokers pass incomplete, intended for Nickerson. Well, Kevin Guy, the Arizona head coach, knows what it takes to win in this league, and not just in this league. He's the all-time leader in AF2 in victories. Led San Jose to a World Arena Bowl championship last year as the defensive coordinator there.
No, guy!
And what won't be good for Jeff Smoker is to have to peel himself off the turf after every pass he tries to throw. As you can see, the pass rush of the Avengers, they're starting to pin their ears back. They know they have the lead right now, and those defenders, Jeffries, Stewart, and Jones, are really getting after the quarterback.
And Jonathan Ingram shaking up on the play, so he hobbles off.
We'll line up on the ball then.
Guy spent 4 seasons as a player in arena football. His quarterback, Jeff Smoker, has completed just 1 of his last 8. Third down and 15. Smoker's pass hangs in the air and incomplete. Canonico couldn't secure it. You have to maintain possession when you hit the ground, and he lost the ball.
And Smoker threw up a ball that resembled more of a punt just because of that pressure that is coming from the Avengers front defensive line, and nearly picked off by Canonico, and that pressure is starting to get into the mentality of Smoker. Remembering he's a backup who comes into the situation after Lane Campbell was injured in the first half, and the last thing you want him to do is be affected by the pass rush, especially with Jason Stewart up front, who is a wide body, a little horizontally challenged, but still quick on his feet.
4th down, no punting in arena football, and down goes Smoker. Pressure by Justin Hickman, and Arizona will have to come on defense with a short field. LA takes over at the 10. 4th sack of an Arizona quarterback tonight. Rattlers in trouble at home, down 17, and LA on the doorstep when we come back.
Hey fellas, check this out. First time I saw her, she set my world, you know, she set my world to reeling. And as the years go by for this country guy, well, we never lost the feeling. With this Billy Goat, I played my last note, I can't wait to get home. Viva Viagra.
Talk to your doctor about Viagra, America's most prescribed treatment for erectile dysfunction. Learn more at Viagra.com.
Viva Viagra.
Ask your doctor if your heart is healthy enough for sex. Don't take Viagra if you take nitrates for chest pain, as it may cause an unsafe drop in blood pressure. Side effects may include headache, flushing, upset stomach, and abnormal vision. To avoid long-term injury, seek immediate medical help for an erection lasting more than 4 hours. Stop taking Viagra and call your doctor right away if you experience a sudden decrease in vision or hearing.
Viva, Viva Viagra.
Renew your skin with the Schick Quattro Titanium Trimmer. 4 blades with titanium stay sharp to reduce irritation. An edging blade adds precision, and the built-in trimmer makes it easy to maintain your look. Schick Quattro Titanium Trimmer. Free your skin.
As a national holiday yourself, how do you feel about the Brewers of Guinness petitioning to make St. Patrick's Day an official holiday?
Wow. You have got some brass, son.
Please drink responsibly.
Plug in, the first ultra-adaptable room from Marriott.
Back in Phoenix, where Los Angeles is in command, 38-21 in the closing moments of the 3rd quarter. Sonny Cumbie's had a great game passing for Los Angeles. Meanwhile, Arizona's had to use 2 quarterbacks. Lane Campbell got hurt. Jeff Smoker's come on and is just 8 out of 20, including 1 for his last 9.
And what you see right now is the pass rush for the Avengers is really going to start to affect Jeff Smoker as he comes in trying to replace Lane Campbell. Still no interceptions, but some errant balls are being thrown now just because his mind is focused on the pass rush coming after him.
Cumbie from the 10-yard line zips it to Ingram, who makes a great move and scores. Touchdown, Los Angeles.
Great move there by Ingram. As you can see, Arizona starting to collapse a little on both sides of the ball. The offensive line giving up that pressure to the Avengers through the last drive, and here's just some bad tackling on the route. These are the plays that you're supposed to just line up and make the tackle and line up for another way. As Trufant gets ran over at the goal line and allows Ingram to get into the end zone. And as you look into his face mask, you may recognize Kevin Ingram. He's the movie man. He's a member of the Screen Actors Guild, and he's been in a couple movies, Invincible and The Game Plan, so I see why they focus on the star.
Penalty flag down. Ingram actually had a speaking role in Invincible as a New York Giant.
Number 99, offense, false start, 5-yard penalty, will attempt the try.
I don't know if he called one line a speaking role, but that's what he had. Got paid.
He got paid. I mean, it's hard to get a SAG card. I live in Los Angeles, and those things are not easy to get. So to have a movie role where you're actually speaking, I think he may be out here just playing football as a hobby. May have a bigger career in acting one day.
He's got 2 touchdown catches tonight. Long extra point by Davis. 45-21. Los Angeles in control.
I gotta tell you.
Back in Phoenix, where the Arizona Rattlers were shut out in the 3rd quarter, and Los Angeles has opened up a 24-point lead as we get ready to start the 4th. David Davis to kick it away. And a touchback. Arizona will start at the 5. Kevin Ingram with 2 touchdown catches in the game, and as Marcellus mentioned before the break, getting involved in acting. Had a speaking role in the movie Invincible, starring Mark Wahlberg. Actually gets tripped up by Marky Mark on a return, as you'll see here momentarily. Had a speaking role, got a line in this film. Really a good flick. Did you see it?
Yeah, it was a great flick. We watched it as the Jacksonville Jaguars as a squad in 2005. Coach Jack Del Rio took us to watch Invincible. Little did I know I was watching Kevin Ingram in action.
Yeah, you'd be doing one of his games just a couple years later. Nickerson with a catch, 31 straight regular season games in which Ingram has caught at least 1 touchdown pass. Now, you mentioned you live in L.A., Marcellus. Any acting in your future?
Maybe in my future. I haven't done any to this point, but I'm getting inspired by seeing AFL players out there, you know, going beyond the football game and taking their skills to Hollywood. So maybe that's a little inspiration for me to get off and do something.
Now, a lot of these players have other jobs, but that's what Burley does best right there. Great diving catch inside the 21-yard line of Los Angeles, and that'll get the crowd going, and maybe it'll get Smoker going as well.
Yeah, Smoker needs this. He needs his top weapon to make plays for him, and Isaiah Burley at 80% is showing that he's still more effective than some receivers in the game at 100%. So just once again, great body control is beyond the routes. This guy is hungry for the ball when it's in the air, and he's determined to come down with the catches.
He has 2 scores tonight. Offensive Player of the Year in Arena Football last year with Utah. Smoker had it stripped. It's scooped up by Jeffries. Touchdown, Los Angeles.
And it's the pressure of the Los Angeles Avengers pass rush. It's those defenders up front with Stewart and Jones and Jeffries. And that's why they brought Ken Jones in from Columbus to bring that pressure to solidify that defensive line and Big Jay Stu in the middle, along with Jeffries on the side. They just been collapsing the pocket, especially in this second half as they had the big lead. And just the bull rush on the offensive line allows them to get the strip, the sack, forced fumble, and the touchdown.
Yeah, Jeffries had 4 touchdowns in Los Angeles' first ever playoff win, as that extra point is no good. Last year, LA beat Utah in the postseason, and Jeffries had a huge game. Meanwhile, just as you think Smoker is getting a little bit of momentum with that pass to Burley, and the crowd starting to get into it. He gets sacked, ball comes out, and it's returned for a score.
Keep your composure.
You hear Kevin Guy talking about keeping your composure. So Dallas has been able to do so far despite Clint Dalzell, their starting quarterback and one of the best players in arena football despite his injury. He'll take on Colorado next Monday. Russell Athletic, ESPN Arena Football on ESPN2 at 8 Eastern a week from tonight.
And there's a lot of pressure on Jeff Smoker to come out here. He hasn't thrown the bad footballs. I think the pressure started to make some of those footballs fail on him and make him throw some bad passes. But he needs some help from his offensive line. Being planted on the ground and the turf after every throw is not going to help your confidence. And 5 sacks and 7 quarterback hurries, that's a lot to ask of a backup to come in and fill the shoes of Lane Campbell, as he's also trying to get a rhythm with his receivers.
And Los Angeles held New Orleans in week 1 to 42 points, so maybe there's something about this LA defense. And if they continue to play like this and Sonny Cumbie continues to go at the rate that he's going at, as that's a touchback, and Arizona will have the ball at the 5. This will be a dangerous Avenger team. Now, granted, they play in the Western Division, which also has the Arena Bowl champion San Jose.
And they've been getting pressure all night from their front 3. You look at Ken Jones and Jay Stu in the middle and Jeffries coming off the edge. And this is not a replay of one play. This has been consistent for the first 3 quarters of this ball game. Guys are making plays, and the biggest play you can make as a defensive lineman is to actually get a forced fumble for return for a touchdown. That affects the scoreboard.
Smoker back to work and has Nickerson pushed to the wall at midfield by Terrell Mays.
And this is a great situation for Jeff Smoker to come into as far as his mental resolve. You want to not only put him in the game physically to get him in sync with the receivers, but also you got to be mentally tough at the quarterback position. And despite the circumstances being down 30, you still need to go out there and pick away at this lead.
Well, last week, New Orleans was held to 9 points in the second half, and Arizona struggling in the second half against this LA defense tonight. Smoker trying to find Nickerson downfield. There's a penalty flag. Stewart hits Smoker, who's shaken up. And remember, Lane Campbell, who started this game, is out. He's on crutches with a sprained right ankle. They can't afford to lose Smoker.
Yeah, I'm looking at my depth chart, and it says Lane Campbell's a starter, and Jeff Smoker.
Interference, number 2, defense, 10-yard penalty, automatic first down.
And Smoker's the backup, but no one's behind him. And you don't want to get into a situation where you have your emergency quarterback. So protecting Jeff Smoker is vitally important. And Jason Stewart is just coming up from the middle and applying pressure. And that's 330-some pounds applying some pressure. So that's why he got up slow off the turf.
So after the penalty, first down for Smoker, stepping up, finding Burley, stretching for the goal line, and he's going to come up short at the 1-yard line. But it's first and goal for Arizona. Nice toss by Jeff Smoker.
And like I said, I like this situation for Jeff Smoker just because it gets to show the coaching staff and his teammates that he has the mental resolve. He's not going to lay on the turf. He's still going to try and strike and get the ball down to his top weapon, Sia Burley. And he's still trying to get this team in contention.
Running play, and Foa is stopped short of the goal line. Might have actually lost a yard. Canonico came shooting in there. And submarine Foa. And the clock continues to run. Arizona needs possessions and quick scores. Down 30 points to LA.
And arena football is the game where you can get those quick scores, and all the players on the field know that. That's why no one is giving up in this situation.
That's Nickerson in motion. Another pitch to Foa. This time he scores. Touchdown, Arizona.
And what you see here is just a quick toss to the fullback, and a great cut back against the grain allows Foa to come downhill and across the goal line. And Foa played a little basketball in high school, and you can see he has some of the agility of a smaller guy, despite his being a bigger guy.
Now with all these, well, hold on.
That's not good.
Way over the head of Smoker. Witzak trying to pick it up.
Really not good.
And it's picked up and then tossed as Mays threw it over his head. That's a live ball, and Los Angeles can get 2 points out of it. There's a penalty flag down, though. LA didn't get in. And Mays, you can't do that. He picked it up and scooped it over his head, throwing it in towards the end zone. But had LA scored on that, it would have been 2 points.
With an illegal pass, number 1 on the offense. That penalty is assessed from here, but it's lost it down. It tries over, and it's no good.
So again, Mays trying to toss it over his head. If he'd have just kept his balance, he might have scored, might have gotten 2 points for LA.
Yeah, and what players are warned in this game is not to swat the ball and try to throw the ball, because the ball is live in a lot of situations off the sideboards. And Mays knew that, but trying to throw the ball is going to be a penalty. As Jason Witzak could have just fallen on the ball instead of looking back at all the defenders who were pursuing.
Let's take a look at the teams in the National Conference and where they're located. New York, Cleveland, Philadelphia, Columbus, Georgia, Dallas, New Orleans, Orlando, and Tampa Bay. And these 2 teams in the American Conference, Arizona, Los Angeles, along with San Jose, Utah, Colorado, Kansas City, Chicago, and Grand Rapids. And there are affiliates in AF2, a minor league system, in arena football. And Ed Hotchkiss, a Los Angeles coach in his 7th year, got to be pleased with what his team has done so far tonight, especially his defense. Again, shutting down Arizona. They did get the touchdown run there with Foa.
What's he popping it? What's he doing?
Hey! Watch it right here! Watch it right here! Watch Witzak! How we doing? My teeth and my I'm allowed to hold you.
Hotchkiss, 2-time Coach of the Year runner-up in arena football in his 7th season. Won an Arena Bowl as the offensive coordinator in Indiana back in 1999. Another penalty flag, Marshall out of bounds. And a late flag thrown in as well. Now this is a fierce rivalry. These 2 teams meet twice a year, sometimes 3 times a season, with a playoff meeting, and tempers flaring now the last couple plays. Officials have had to separate the 2 sides. These guys have been busy tonight.
Very busy, which is uncharacteristic of both of these teams, as they're
Kick catch interference on the defense, number 23.
And we're talking about 2 of the 3 least penalized teams in the AFL last year. And like you said, the referee has been busy on his microphone all game.
Was after the play was over, personal foul, number 43. That penalty will be assessed 10 yards from the end of the run, first down.
That's on Kurt Kahui, linebacker for Arizona.
And the Avengers have been playing strong defense in the early part of this season. Last week having the 3 turnovers in the second half, which led to 17 points. And once again in this second half, getting the turnovers, which led to points. And that's their strength. Starting up front with the big guys. They've been playing a great defense. That's allowed Sonny Cumbie in the offense to have success.
I know, I use 70 here. Sure.
5 first-half touchdown passes for Sonny Cumbie. Going to work here in the fourth quarter. And that hard count works again and again. Little extracurricular activity. Cumbie took a shot to the face from Shropshire as flags fly. Say that hard hat on the umpire might come into play here.
Yeah, they're serving their food with a little extra hot sauce because obviously that was an unnecessary hit. Once you know you jump offside as a defender, no need to hit the quarterback.
All joking aside about the look.
Offside, number 99 defense, unabated to the quarterback, 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
All joking aside about the look of the umpire's helmet, obviously that is a safety measure, something they're testing in AFL, and it's probably a good idea for officials eventually to wear those with all the contact and injuries that we see in football, and even players wearing helmets around arena football this year that have shockometers to determine after a big hit whether or not they need to be tested for a concussion. Nobody wearing that helmet in this game as Cumbie's pass is incomplete, intended for LaShawn Ward.
And that's smart of the league and the commissioner, David Baker, to put those shock sensors on the helmets because that makes you proactive instead of reacting to some of the concussions and some of the things that happen. You look at the NFL with Trent Green and certain other players. It's something where you can now have an indicator before it gets that bad and it's that severe. So that's a smart thing to have for all the players at impact positions.
That is not a safety measure, at least as far as I know.
That's hazardous to all health.
Ward, and major contact you can hear over the wireless there as Cumbie had Hawthorne in his face. Third down coming up, clock continues to run. Los Angeles won 9 games a year ago, went to the playoffs, beat Utah, their first postseason win, then lost to Chicago in the next round. And seeking a 2-0 start, and they're just over 7 minutes away from doing so. They've won 5 of the last 6 meetings with Arizona. Another flag down. Cumbie surveying, going for Ward. And it's incomplete, and another penalty flag.
You're better than that. You're a lot better than that.
Late hit on the quarterback by Wendell Gaines. And that's what Cumbie was upset about. Shropshire was there as well.
Personal foul. Roughing the passer, number 89. Defense, 10-yard penalty, automatic first down.
And as a player, when you look up at the scoreboard and you realize that you're not winning the football game, sometimes you get into these personal grudge matches where you just try to win the man-on-man matchups, and usually that leads to penalties because if you're not winning the ball game, there's no need to go out there and try to win the tough man award.
Of course, you were always on time. You never hit anybody late in your NFL career. You always held up, right?
Yeah, I'm perfect. I'm in the booth right now, so all those things are correct as I sit here in the booth.
Columbia grads always use their smarts, and they hold up as Marshall pulls it in, and it's another Los Angeles touchdown, and another one for Sonny Cumbie.
And expectations are high in Los Angeles. There's no football in Los Angeles with the NFL, but for the AFL, the Avengers are trying to bring a championship home because they have huge expectations. And it all rests on the shoulders and the arm of Sonny Cumbie. And as you can see, he's just coming out and have a great game, and more importantly, a mistake-free game, and hitting Marshall for 6 points.
When you let that go, I go, oh, shit.
7 touchdown passes for Cumbie today. He had 7 in the opener. Tony Graziani of Philadelphia had 14 as well through 2 games. And Sonny Cumbie and the Avengers on their way to 2-0. They lead Arizona 58-27.
Until now, guys that sweat a lot had to have a backup plan. Now there's a better plan. New Gillette Clinical Strength Antiperspirant. Powerful wetness protection. 34% better than a prescription product. A lot more confidence.
Hey, Jason, you got that report, right?
You bet.
There's something different about you. Did you get a haircut?
Gillette Clinical Strength Antiperspirant. Change your life, not your shirt.
Honey? I think this might be our lucky day.
I think it might be.
I think this is what we've been waiting for.
I think it is. Yes! It turned blue!
The Coors Light cold activated bottle. The mountains turn from white to blue when your beer reaches the perfect temperature.
It's blue like your eyes.
My eyes are green.
Only from Frost Brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer.
ESPN's telecast of Russell Athletic Arena football is brought to you by Russell Athletic. For those who have what it takes on the inside, Russell has what it takes on the outside. And in part by Discover Card, making every fan's AFL experience brighter. LA on its way to 2-0, leading Arizona 58-27, under 6 to play here in regulation. ESPN's coverage of Championship Week continues Wednesday afternoon with first-round action from the Big East Championship presented by Aeropostale. Syracuse and Villanova at noon Eastern, Cincinnati and Pittsburgh at 7 Eastern. And with San Diego winning the WCC Championship, there'll be more upsets certainly in Championship Week. That puts added pressure on some teams in major conferences that are on the bubble, like a Syracuse, as Nickerson returns it to the 12. And again, tempers flare, and that's Kahui, who got a penalty earlier for some extracurricular activity. Another great night for Sonny Cumbie. 7 touchdowns last week, 7 tonight.
And more importantly, no interceptions, which last week he had 3 interceptions, and that's why this game is turning to be a blowout.
And you talked about it right at the top of the telecast, the importance of Cumbie cutting down on those mistakes. And you're right on. He's done that tonight. And then Nickerson gets free here inside the 15-yard line, showing off his speed. Wrapped up inside the 5. Wheeler made the tackle, but it's a first down and goal for Arizona.
And what Los Angeles can't do, especially in the quick strike arena league, is get relaxed and get into prevent situations on defense. So you still got to remember the fundamentals, take the proper pursuit angles, and make the tackles when they're your tackles to make. And Damon Wheeler is the last line of defense and is able to bring Nickerson down, saving the touchdown.
Clock will only stop inside of a minute on out-of-bounds plays and incomplete passes. Smoker pumps, wide open, Burley, his 3rd touchdown.
And that was a great drive, a quick drive for Arizona that was helped by some lax play and some lack of fundamentals by the Avengers on defense. So as you see, Sia Burley once again cutting inside, leaving the defender, Damon Wheeler, behind him, and getting in sync with Smoker, because Smoker comes off the bench, and him and Sia Burley have connected on several touchdowns today, and that's got to be something positive for Arizona to look forward to.
Yeah, 3 TD grabs, and Arizona going for 2. Smoker for Burley again, incomplete, so no conversion. And the clock will stop now with 3:43 to go. Can Arizona get it back down 25? The Rattlers once made the playoffs 12 straight years, but they've fallen on hard times over the last 3, going to the playoffs just once. They had 4 wins a year ago. They did lose Cedric Bonner in the offseason, but signed Sia Burley, who did play with Arizona earlier in his career, and then literally playoff or bust. It could cost a reported $2.2 million to this Rattler franchise, as ownership has guaranteed season ticket holders a refund if they do not make the playoffs. Based on what you've seen so far, Marcellus, You think this will be a challenge for Arizona to get to the postseason? Let's remember, they not only have Arizona or Los Angeles in this division, but also San Jose.
Yeah, it is going to be a challenge, and the jury is out. As if they don't catch up pretty quick here in the last 3 minutes, they're going to be 1-1, and going 500 for the season is not going to help them get into the playoffs and help them live up to that guarantee, especially when your starting quarterback is on the sidelines. Even though Smokers come in and had a pretty good game, it's still going to be an uphill climb for a team, especially in the same division as LA and San Jose.
Go-to plays, you know what I'm saying? Double dig with the hour, HD value,
Sorry.
guaranteed that we can get it.
It's Hotchkiss, head coach for Los Angeles, talking with his quarterback, Sonny Cumbie. They try the onside kick. It's picked up by Wheeler and returned inside the 5-yard line.
And the chess match starts early with the onside kicks, especially in arena football, just because you can strike quick and you can score points fast. But at the same time, if you don't make those onside kicks and get possession, that is beyond the short field, the ball at the 3-yard line.
And Sonny Cumbie's day is apparently over. Tim Hicks at 6'4", 240 comes into the game, replacing Cumbie. Hicks played a couple of games in Los Angeles last year. Had a great AF2 career. Here he gets smacked by Antaj Hawthorne. Shropshire also in on the stop.
Yes, and in his first play, trying to complete the ball, had to try and run. He's a little thicker of foot, as you can see. Tim Hicks is a little bigger guy, doesn't have the same elusiveness as Sonny Cumbie. But that's a great feeling when you're the starting quarterback. I remember being in high school, and when we had games like this, when you pretty much had everything under control, to go to the sideline and take your shoulder pads off and sit there and hope the cheerleaders saw you. and that's a fun feeling. You don't get that much. You don't get that opportunity too much in the pros, but they have it here.
Hicks on the carry again, and again Hawthorne sticks him. Robinson there as well.
Yeah, just looking at Hicks here from the vantage point of the booth, doesn't look like an option quarterback or someone who's going to run the ball in, but yet still I think he has the plays to call and the confidence to get in there, but I don't know if he has the wheels to turn to get in the end zone.
If nothing else, they're taking time off the clock. Arizona electing not to use its timeouts. And Hicks calls for time with a play clock down to 4.
Timeout, Los Angeles.
2 timeouts remaining for Los Angeles. Don't forget, a week from tonight, more arena football action with Colorado taking on Dallas. Russell Athletic, ESPN Arena Football on ESPN2 Monday at 8 Eastern Time. And an exciting year so far. 2 weeks into the 2008 AFL campaign, and certainly Los Angeles showing that it is going to be a team to be reckoned with this year. A lot of people thought they could be a surprise team.
Hands up!
And it's because of that guy, Sonny Cumbie, who now has 14 touchdown passes this year, and LA going to be 2-0 on the year. 3rd down and goal, Hicks under center. Hicks's pass knocked away by Kahui, incomplete. It was intended for Jarrett Hicks, no relation to that guy, Tim.
And we heard that talking to the players and talking to Coach Hotchkiss, that they have everything they need, the ingredients to have a winning season and to possibly bring home their first Arena Bowl title to Los Angeles. So the players believe in it, and so far this season, they're executing that belief.
And if you can just get into the playoffs in arena football, you never know what's going to happen here. On 4th down, it's caught by Ingram. He did not get in, though. So Arizona will take over. Remember, Columbus last year was 7-9, made the playoffs and went all the way to the Arena Bowl before falling to San Jose. Here's Ingram, stopped by Trufant, and did not get the ball across. Arizona takes over on downs. So we mentioned that assuming Los Angeles hangs on, it will go to 2-2. We were in Chicago last week to watch San Jose lose. Utah, a playoff team last year, but 0-2. Might be the best division in the AFL. Smoker going deep, looking for Burley. Overthrown with Canonico covering, incomplete.
And I got to see San Jose play last week in a loss to Chicago, but yet still, this is a strong division. As you can see, Los Angeles is making a strong push early in the season to be a contender as the AFL champ. San Jose SaberCats sit there at 1-1 as well.
And we'll see Dallas next week, off to a good start, but how will it fare until Clint Dalzell returns from a shoulder injury? And a lot of people thought he would be the player of the year in arena football this season. We have reached the 1-minute warning. Los Angeles in command, 58-33 over Arizona.
The incredibly fuel-efficient Mitsubishi Outlander. Hop in. It's go time.
Crushing some live sports last night. Watched some NBA, NASCAR, rugby, even some...
Sounds like a lot of sports there, fella.
Excuse me?
You heard me.
Sounds like somebody's a little insecure about their fanhood. Guys, you challenge my fanhood, you meet this. That's barbed wire. Goes all the way around, friend. Boop, 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 boop.
Watch more live sports online than ever before on ESPN360.com and always defend your fanhood.
Now, get big arms, a ripped chest, and cut abs with the Perfect Push-Up. The Perfect Push-Up works with the natural rotation of your arms and shoulders to maximize results and minimize stress on your body. With the Perfect Push-Up, your hands, arms, and shoulders rotate 90 degrees, just like in a punch. All the energy of a push-up is captured and transmitted right where you want it, to the muscles. There's no wasted effort, just muscle-building movement. And as your arms rotate, you feel it work in your biceps, your triceps, your chest and abs, and your shoulders. Invented by a U.S. Navy SEAL and made with steel and a ball-bearing movement, it's the push-up perfected. So here's the deal. The Perfect Push-Up is only 2 payments of $19.95. When you order, you'll receive 2 Perfect Push-Up rotational handles, and you'll also receive the Navy SEAL-inspired Perfect Push-Up workout chart. You'll be ripped in no time. Get big fast. Call right now for the Perfect Push-Up.
Call 1-800-543-0376.
Kevin Guy and the Arizona Rattlers staring their first loss of the season in the face as we go in.
Off the field now, let's go. What happened over there? I batted it. I keep the fan here, but I batted it down with the ball. No, Guy! Ball! Ball! No, touchdown! No! It's a turnover!
That's our In the Game presented by Discover Card. A frustrating night for Kevin Guy in Arizona's home opener. They've given up 5 sacks, committed 11 penalties.
And this is no way, guarantees aside of making the playoffs, no way for a team to come out and execute just to win one game. So they've lost the battle at the line of scrimmage, especially in the offensive line, letting the LA Avengers get 5 sacks, putting the pressure on Smoker all night.
And Ken Jones has been active for Los Angeles. That was a great acquisition in the offseason, coming over from Columbus, where he was 3rd in the AFL in sacks. Smoker throws a pick here to Wheeler, and he keeps his balance, tries to dive into the end zone, and eventually brought down. That was Smoker, the quarterback, made the tackle there.
Yeah, he had to get back for throwing the interception. You're going to be the last line defense and make sure you don't have the interception go for a touchdown. And Damon Wheeler showing you a little extra action as just an errant ball, just a ball that's thrown to the inside and made it easy for Damon Wheeler to break on it. And he's trying to get in the end zone. The game's not over to him. He knows he wants to pad his stats in situations like this.
Wheeler had an interception and a fumble recovery for a touchdown last week. First down and goal. Los Angeles obviously wants the clock to keep running, but they don't get positive yardage. It will stop. They do. Touchdown. for Los Angeles as Lonnie Ford takes it in, and it's 64-33 LA.
You'll get positive yardage. You keep giving it to that Ford F-250. He's been in the end zone before tonight, and especially in situations like this, I remember playing, and when we were losing, the last place you wanted to be is in the ball game, late in the game, when the game was over and meaningless as far as the standings goes, because a lot of runs are coming your way, and that's a lot of load to bring down.
A receiving touchdown and now a rushing touchdown for Lonnie Ford. And the extra point good. LA 65, Arizona 33. Let's take a look at our ADT defensive play of the game. That was a pretty good interception return by Damon Wheeler, but that's not the play of the game. It's Josh Jeffries, strip, recovery, and score.
Yes, Josh Jeffries has been getting pressure on the quarterback all night long with the front line and Ken Jones, and he gets all the stats padded in that situation and gets in the end zone. And
I love you, baby.
He's a fast guy for a 260-pound defensive end. Josh Jeffries last year, he caught a 38-yard screen pass and ran it for a touchdown. So equivalent to the NFL catching a 76-yard screen pass. And me being 261 of the days in the past, no way was I ever going to run that far for a touchdown. So he has a little athletic ability in his arsenal.
Do you have any TDs at Columbia or in the NFL?
Actually, at Columbia, I had 26 touchdowns. See how fast I said that, like Al Bundy, just because I played running back. But going to the NFL, I didn't have any touchdowns in my 10-year career. I got down to the 4-yard line one time, but the game was in Green Bay, and it was 20 below. So when I crossed the 5-yard line, I just dropped the ball. Couldn't even feel it. My fingers were numb.
Did Favre catch you? Is that what happened?
Yeah, I should say yeah, just because that adds to my legend of saying Brett Favre tackled me.
Here's Nickerson in the return to the 8-yard line. He fumbled the ball, but ruled down. So Arizona ball with just over 40 seconds remaining. Lane Campbell, the starting quarterback for Arizona, was hurt in the first quarter, replaced by Jeff Smoker. Smoker threw an interception the last time Arizona had the ball. And they're just going to hand it off here to Foa. And with Foa staying in bounds, the clock will continue to run. May have to snap it one more time, depending on how close the play clock is to the game clock. And nope, they're not going to have to. 1 second more on the play clock than on the game clock. So that's the final play of Arizona's home opener. Not a good one for the Rattlers. But give a lot of credit to Los Angeles' defense for the second straight week. The Avengers D look pretty good, and so does their quarterback, Sonny Cumbie. Now 14 touchdown passes this season, 7 in week 1, 7 in week 2. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For Marcellus Wiley and our entire crew, I'm Dave Pash. Los Angeles wins it 65-33. So long for Phoenix.
North Carolina is not going anywhere after holding tight to beat Duke. We'll tell you if the Heels locked up a top seed and who else is in position for a